Welcome to today's video. We are going to cover the TrueSite APM Central VM, which I'm going to start explaining now from start to finish. So you would like to deploy EVM, but you do not want to have 4 different VMs to do the job. The answer to this question would be to deploy the APM Central. This is an all-in-one VM. So here's a bit of a drawing that I did. So normally you'd have a collector deployed as a VM, an analyzer deployed as a VM, and a PAE deployed as a VM, and then you have the TrueSite Operations Management Console deployed as a VM, and they all connect together via network, and you have the separate storage areas for the analyzer and the PAE, and then you'd feed the data to the collector or one of the collectors, and you'd tie them all together. This works well for scalability if you have different data centers that need to have data tapped and sent to one area for one analyzer, or you'd have many analyzer and you want to have one console for it. Perfect scenario for that. The idea behind the APM Central is, well, we'll say you don't need to have multiple data centers tapped and you want just everything to be under one roof. Well, picture all of this as one big VM like this, okay? So we're going to start now by locating it in the support side of BMC. All right, start by going to the BMC website to get your download, so bmc.com. You'll have to have a valid support ID, and you have to obviously have EVM purchased. So click on support. It'll bring you to the support site. I'm going to log in, support login. I have mine. My name is Chris Marcotte, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm not going to tell you my password. And now I'm going to be signed in. I'm not going to remember this. All right. So I'm going to sign into the BMC support site, which will give me access to the downloads. All right. So here I am logged in, and it knows who I am. My name is up there on the top right hand side, Chris Marcotte. I'm going to click on Downloads and Patches. Product Downloads EPD. It's going to ask some questions about what am I using it for and whatnot. It's all legal stuff. So I'm sure everyone's going to read through all that. I'm going to say that I'm from Canada, which is where I'm from. I'm going to say that I will be using it for BMC. I'm not a government entity. Remember it. I agreed to this. I've read these before. I'm sure you all have too. I agree. Continue. And away we go. Okay, so now we're into the part where it houses all the downloads that I can possibly download according to my support ID. So why I'm interested in real and user experience it's under the APM 2.6, the TrueSite Operations Management 2.6. Okay, and I'm going to type in real, and I know it's called real, and I'm looking for this portion of it, BMC Real and User Experience Monitoring. Okay, so it brings it to documentation first, and I can download this and read it, but I'm interested in getting the actual file that I have to deploy on my VMware. I'm going to do this for VMware. This could be for Hyper-V as well as Zen and Citrix Hypervisor. You can read that in the documentation site, docs.bmc.com. The one I'm looking for is going to be called the BMC Application Performance Monitoring Central version, VMDK, because VMDK is the one that's used for VMware. So instead of downloading through here, I'm going to generate a FTP link, which is going to be emailed to my email right there. It says here, I'm going to email this link to you. So it's now generated a link, and it's going to get the email. So I have that. I'm going to select it on my email, open up a new tab. I'm going to paste it in here and go. It's going to bring me to the site, the FTP that is created for me. In there, I should have one file. And sure enough, I have it, TO 2.6, whatever. So to speed things up, I've already pre-downloaded. If I clicked on this now, it'd start downloading through my browser, but I've already downloaded it to save some time. So here it is, TO 2.6's latest version of VMDK. It's a zip file. This is the one here that I just downloaded. It's a zip file. Inside the zip file is several files. The several files are the OVS, which is the template used by VMware, and the actual VMDK. So the VMDK is the big file. I'll just expand this. So 2 gigs for everything. It's everything. It's 2 gigs, pretty large, but you have to remember it contains the console, the PAE, the analyzer, and the collector. Okay. So everything under one roof, like I said before, and the OVF gives you the ability to have it deployed in VMware and automatically assign resources according to if it's low traffic, medium traffic, or high traffic. So low traffic would be less resources, high traffic would be more resources, and that's, depends on your traffic load. Okay, so let's say I have it now. I have it downloaded. I'm going to go to my VMware and say, okay, I'm going to deploy it. So I can click my host that I want to deploy it on, deploy OVF template, and I'm going to search to the directory that I just extracted the file that I downloaded to. Here it is. Okay, and I'll pick low because I don't really have much traffic. Here's my lab environment, and I'm going to select that file, and I'm going to hit next. The OVF file is the one I'm selecting. And it's going to ask me what name I want to call it. I'm going to call it Central for Video. Oh, I even spelled Central wrong. Central for Video. And I'm going to let it pick that resource pool. And I'm going to pick it, I'll just leave it there and open, I won't put it under a resource pool. Okay, now I get to select, what data store I want to put it on. So again, the idea behind this is it's an all-in-one. So imagine if you were to deploy the 4 components separately, you each have its own operating system disk, and the analyzer has a separate disk for its session browser database, and the PE has a separate disk for its storage for the PAE data. So when you give it a disk size here, well, first of all, I'm picking the data store, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's going to give a static size. So I'll point to this one. So the space available there is 1.3 terabytes, and the size on disk is going to be 28 gigs. Okay, so this is the operating system side. I'm going to have to add another disk afterwards, and what's going to happen is it's going to separate it into 2 because it's going to split it between the PAE and the session browser database. So the maximum you can give to a session browser database is 570 gigs. So if I only give 570 gigs to the whole central VM, it'll actually divide it by 2. It'll give half to the PAE and half to the session browser database. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. Okay, I'm back. I paused the video so that it would finish deploying in my VMware center, and it has completely been deployed. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I have now one called Central for Video. That's basically our all-in-one VM that we're talking about. So before I power it on, I want to go and add the second hard disk that I want to use for the PAE and the session browser database. So as you can see here, I have some CPUs, memory, 2 network devices. So one for the management, one for the capture of the collection part of it, and only 1 hard drive, 28 gigs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second hard disk. And I don't have unlimited space in my lab here, so I won't make it terabytes, but I'll make it 500 gigs. And I'll just specify a data store that actually has that much free. So here we go. Pick that one next. Not a big deal of what virtual device node it could be on. If you want a separate controller, you can choose it. And I'm going to finish it. It's added it. I'm going to OK it. You'll see the progress in the bottom here, 40%, 86. Okay, it's good. And now I'm ready to power it on. So I'm going to go ahead and power it on. Here we go. And now you can monitor it, the progress from the console. You'll see that it's starting to start booting up. Here we go. I'm set in my lab to have DHCP, so I'm not going to set a static address for it. So once it gets an IP address, I'll be able to hit it from the UI and finish the setup. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording again, and when it's ready to be opened up for the UI, I'll start recording. Alright, so the system is far enough booted up that it has an IP address. Like I said, I'm doing DHCP, and I'm actually, in my switch I have it in promiscuous mode, so I'm actually getting some traffic as we speak. But I'm not finished yet, so I'm going to load another web page. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to put in the IP address that the system is at. So it's at, there we go, HTTPS 192.19.148.119. And now I'm going to go through the setup procedure from the UI. So I understand the risks. It's all going to be good. And now I'm going to be thrown into the wizard. So the product isn't licensed yet, but as any deployment from UEM, you are granted a 30-day trial license. So here's the 30-day trial license. I'm going to go ahead and proceed with that. Gives it a full functionality of the system, but after 30 days, your access, you'll be denied. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit there, and now it's going to start doing its magic. The first question that I get prompted says, hey, you know, I see you added a second disk, which is the 500 gig disks that I added. Do you want to use that one? And I said, yeah, I want to use that one. So it's going to go ahead and format this disk. So this might take a little bit of time, depending on the speed of your I/O. Okay, so I selected that disk is going to be formatted, but it's not going to do it just yet. The second question, well, the third step out of 7 is going to ask me for a self-signed certificate. So by default, the system will give itself a self-signed cert. I'm going to make this non-expiring, so I'll put 0 here, as the message says underneath here. I don't care, I'll just give it the IP address for the common name. Submit it. Up to the next step. Security officer account, so I have to give it a username, so I'm going to call it security. I'll just give it a password of security just for this video. And I submit that. I don't want to remember that password. DNS configuration, I'm going to skip for now. You can put in your DNS configuration right now. You can also do it after from CLI. The primary NTP server, very important to set NTP to EUEM. So I'll just set ntp.internet.com, whatever it is. So just say that I have an NTP server, but you can skip it for now and set it afterwards. So I'll just skip it. And last one is the CLI user password. So I will just put the password I usually put in for all my VMs in my lab. Here we go. And I'm going to submit it. I don't want to remember any of those. Okay, so this is a review of what I set, and now I'm going to go for it, and now it should start initializing. So it's going to build the system now in the background, okay? So this is going to take some time because it's got to format that 500 gigs and get everything prepared. So I'll be back as soon as it's finished. Okay, so I'm back. The hard drive finished formatting, and now the system has gone for a reboot. I'm just going to refresh my connection here to log in for the first time. Called application management, and I'm going to log in using my credentials I had specified before. And of course there's an agreement and user the EULA. Accept it. And here we have it. So now we have a whole all-in-one VM. So if I were to click on here, it'll bring me to the familiar space where I can see the where I can put watch points and whatnot. Okay, so here's the familiar analyzer type screen. Call it the all-in-one monitor. So it's basically an analyzer and collector put together here under one UI. And while that's loading, I'll go back to here. This one has the PAE, so under application monitoring, performance analysis. I can click on my PAE, start analysis, and I'll find out that. So whatever it did start capturing on the analyzer collector side, which is this tab here, is already being fed to my PAE storage. So whatever the watch points are seeing here in the last 5 minutes, so my custom fields and all that stuff there too. So it's actually picking up traffic as we speak. So if I want to just verify that the traffic is there, I go to my sister information license page and I see that I have some traffic on one of my capture ports. No real hits per second. Again, this is lab traffic, so I'm not expecting a lot of traffic. So let's go over to the VMware side to make sure I have my settings right for my vSwitch. Okay, so here's the one that I just deployed. Okay, so this is the VM, and I want to know which host it's on, ESXi host. So I click on my summary, and the summary soon will show up. And it'll show me that I have the SPO1 here. So this is my host that this VM is actually deployed on. So if I clicked on this one, This is where the vSwitch is located. So I'll click on configuration and then networking. And I'll show you, okay, see I have a bunch of VMs here hooked up to the same vSwitch. And I have this port group I made. I can show you on this switch here. So if I don't want to put the whole vSwitch into promiscuous mode, meaning if I want, I don't want all the VMs to see all the traffic, I can just add networking, create the virtual machine. I'll use that vSwitch that's already been there. And I'll just create a new one, like a new port group for video. That's us. No VLANs. Okay, and I'll finish it up. And you'll see here, as soon as it's done its business, I should see new port group. And you can name it anything you want that's familiar to you. So here we go. Okay, so I have new port group for video at the bottom here. I'm almost done. I want to now shove that into promiscuous mode. You see here, my switch is not in promiscuous mode, but I want to put my new port group in promiscuous mode. I just call it new port group. You can call it anything you want. So if I edit that port group, go to security, promiscuous mode, and set to accept. What this means that any traffic on these two physical NICs, it will be fed to this port group, and anything in this port group, all the VMs that hook up to this port group will see all the traffic, even if it's not destined for any of the VMs in this port group. It's in promiscuous mode. So I don't have any VMs here. This is, you can see it's blank. I will go back to my central for video, I called it, and I will edit the settings. And I'll put adapter 2 into new port group for video. I hit OK. And just to show you that it worked, I'll go back to my host, and you'll see here I have, oh look, central for video in this new port group, which happens to be in promiscuous mode. So anything that's seen on these two physical NICs, if it's HTTP, HTTPS, as long as I have the keys now installed, I'll be able to decrypt that. I will see it in this new port group. So if I go back to my UI, maybe I'll see a little bit more data there. So I see more data, but still no objects. But that's how you would do it. Okay. So let's go back to the main one. There we go. See, now I see a lot more. Before I saw like 40 kilobits. Now I see 3,000. So there you go. So we verified. We've deployed the. Well, we downloaded the VMDK file, deployed the OVF template. We've let it boot up. We configured it. We added a second hard drive to it before we booted it up, so we gave space to the PAE and to the session browser database. And if you took a look here, you'll see that I have session browser database. Okay, so it's there, and it doesn't have much in it right now, but gives you a quick estimate of how much before rollover. And we've also verified on the ESXi host how to create a new port group and shove it in promiscuous mode right here. And away we go. So now all we have to do is monitor the application that we want to monitor in the UEM. So thanks for listening to the video, and there'll be more coming.